Greetings everyone, and welcome back to bannersonthewall.wordpress.com for this Banners on the Road audio special from Saturday the 13th of January 2024, the NIHL South 2 game between the Solent Junior Devils and the Lee Valley Lions. Final score in this one, Solent Junior Devils 7, Lee Valley Lions 1. The scorers for the Devils, two from Wedge, 2 from Cloutman, 1 from Barnes, 1 from Panther, and 1 from Necrosevicius. And the lone goal for the Lions coming from Ganas. So, regular viewers of the What's Current stream, Wednesday night, 8 PM, YouTube, you know the deal, will know that dating back long to the early days of What's Current, when it used to be on Periscope or Twitter Live or whatever you want to call it, we've always mentioned the Lee Valley Lions. Now, the whole thing with the What's Current stream is that I've gone through every single game across the NIHL. Don't always manage to go into massive detail about every game, but every game gets mentioned. That's the whole point, that every result from the top to the bottom, and I've said lots of times when describing the NIHL, it's from Leeds to Lee Valley, because Leeds are definitely the top and Lee Valley are not. For all the will in the world, the Lee Valley Lions are consistently one of the teams at the lower end of the entire structure, and for the last few years have been bottom of South 2. The whole thing with being so attached to Basingstoke meant that I couldn't go out and just watch games willy-nilly. Many of you know the deal. I do one game a weekend because that's the deal I have with my wife, because I have a son to look after. And it meant that many of these places that I talked about, many of these evocative names, teams that have been around for a really, really long time and have a history I just haven't been able to see. And then, of course, the painful cutting of the cord meant I was cut loose to the four winds and I could go to all these places. And then, well, let's face it, the rink at Lee Valley with its parking situation, I'm not driving the opposite end of London to get a parking ticket. I'm just not. But then the stars did align. And when I looked at the fixtures for this weekend and wondering where I was going to go, they were at home to Solent. And Gosport is 45 minutes down the road from me, and you best believe I'm going to take advantage of seeing some teams. And yes, I know, and I say it a lot, and everybody says it a lot. It's not proper hockey in Solent. It definitely is. And it just means that sometimes you have to lean into this advantage. I've done the miles this season. I think that's proven to many people, but this was an opportunity to get up close and see something that I normally would not get the chance to see. And that was Lee Valley. What would they offer? The short version was, unfortunately, it's kind of easy to see why the Lee Valley Lions were bottom of the table, especially because Ethan Frayne let in the first 2 shots on net. The Devils 2-0 up in less than 2 minutes. It looked like immediately it was going to be an uphill struggle for them. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. Now, don't get me wrong. The Solent Junior Devils controlled this game from minute 1 to minute 60. The result itself was maybe in doubt, potentially for about 2 to 3 minutes of this entire game. But the Lions grew into it, and the Devils were maybe a little bit on the complacent side at times. Now, that's understandable, especially when you go 2-0 up inside 2 minutes on your first 2 shots of the game. But the one thing that the Lions were allowed to do was grow into the game. Now, remember, this is a Lions side that beat Peterborough before Christmas. This is not a side that you can completely discount from any game. And ultimately, what it meant was that the Devils needed to be probably a bit more on the ball than they were on occasion. However, what it meant was that they could just keep pushing on and pushing on. And the thing for the Devils was they didn't necessarily need to push the play, because the mistakes were being made that were allowing them to capitalise on the play when it really came down to it. A 2-man system in the game as well meant that there were a few bits and pieces happening off the puck that probably didn't necessarily need to. But after Charlie Wedge and Ash Barnes had the Devils 2-0 ahead early, you did just wonder when the third goal was eventually going to come. And it was 3-0 by the end of the first period. More out of unfortunate elements than anything else. Ethan Frayne recovered well from letting in 2 early goals, but then out of nowhere, his D blow their coverage, the pass comes across, Harry Clapman pokes at the puck, and it goes under Frayne, off of the inside of his own leg and over the line, and you see a few heads drop. That's the only way really to describe it on that front. And from there, the second, I was kind of expecting it to kind of go a similar way, and actually the Lions were having none of it. The joke in Solent for a lot of their fans is that the second period, the Devils fall asleep, and whilst it wasn't quite a nap as akin to the ones that sometimes the first team suffer from, the majority of the second period, for at least the first 7 or so minutes, it was a complete stalemate. The two teams were cancelling each other out. The Lions had more intent going forward, more action going forward, and the Devils just seemed happy to kind of hold them at arm's length. Eventually, a penalty on Jordan Sullivan for the Lions gave the Devils a power play, and again, it wasn't some big fancy shot out of nowhere. It was a rebound popping off of Frayne, and Nekresevisis just somehow ending up at the top of the crease. Normally wouldn't expect him that far forward, but on hand, pokes it in, 4-0. And then, with about 5 minutes left in the second period, what they deserved. A power play for the Lions, a penalty called on Ollie Cackett, and actually one I didn't think was a penalty, it should be said, but given nonetheless. And Matt Gannis, who has probably been the most impactful player for the Lions this entire year since joining, managed to smash one in past Rory Martin-Edwards from the hash mark, and they celebrated, and so they should. They genuinely deserved to get something out of the game and out of that period, and actually drew the second 1-1, which is pretty decent all things considered. Unfortunately though, the Resistance couldn't hold out forever, and as we were sat in Gosport reading messages of crazy things happening on the high road, it seemed that maybe the game was just going to peter out into nothing. At the 50-minute mark, it was still 4-1, and then, out of nowhere, it all started to fall apart. Riley Panther managed to snap a shot over the shoulder of Ethan Frayne to make it 5-1, and it all started to fall apart. Harry Clapman's second goal blocked into his own net by Frayne, who threw his equipment towards the puck, and unfortunately, the puck clipped corner, and in it went. And then the last goal, which, to be fair, they probably didn't deserve, but with a 5-on-3 power play, the Lions coughed the puck up, and young Mr. Wedge was down the ice and fired home. A 3-on-5 short-handed goal, 7-1, game done. Did the scoreline flatter the hosts? A little bit. Like I said, do not get me wrong. The Junior Devils deserved to win this game. They were by far the better side. They were better structured. They were better managed. The defence looked comfortable. Martin-Edwards is making all the same sort of saves that he made the last time we saw them against Haringey, showing that he has an element of consistency to his game that his opposite number in this one didn't necessarily have. But what it did show was that the Lions are not what everybody kind of thinks they are. Are they the bottom place side? Yes, justifiably so, on the balance of results. You're not bottom by chance in these kind of things. But I think what I saw was everything I really enjoy about hockey. Now, I've had the fortune this year to have a completely mad year that makes no sense, where I've gone to Elite League and to National League. I've done all 4 levels of the structure. The only leagues I've not seen games in this year are North 1 and North 2, for obvious reasons. But what it's allowed me to do is to just enjoy the hockey. And you know what? A 5 p.m. face-off in a freezing rink on the south coast between 2 of the bottom sides in this structure. And you know what? I had fun. And that's what this all should be. And it's one of those great reminders sometimes about how you can't take everything so seriously. In this game, we get so wrapped up in it sometimes. Now, don't get me wrong. All of those lads want to win. All of their fans want them to win. And I got fortunate because I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight. But I just got to sit back and enjoy it. And I got to see two teams of guys go to battle, put what they could on the line, and one team was better than the other. Pretty crystal clear. What did I see from the Lee Valley Lions? I think Tadger Allen looks really good. I think that kid's got a lot of potential, even if he does need to pass the puck more. I saw Ethan Frayne make some really, really good saves, and you think of the fact he was backing up Chelmsford earlier this year, and he was let go in place of Dominic Ray, and he's taken a chance on himself in a team that is not going to win a lot of hockey games, but is going to fight to stay in all those games by the look of it. Matt Gannis looks pretty decent for this level. Raphael Clegg-Vinnell looks pretty good at this level. And maybe they're not, like I said, this team is not going to win tons, but they're going to stick around and they're going to put some effort in, and it's the effort I respect. For the Devils, as calm and as accomplished as you could like. The useful fact of the first team not having a game this weekend meant Harry Clapman was able to call on some of the players from the first team, himself included, but you also saw names like Jack Peacock, Nekras Savizis, who of course got his goal into there. But as well, seeing some of the younger guys, Starr, Cackett, young Wedge, who I think has been very, very good. Ash Barnes got man of the match. I personally would have given it to Wedge if I'm 100% honest myself, but I kind of see why he did get it. And yet another accomplished performance from Rory Martin Edwards. It was consummate, as professional as you can get at South 2 with a performance from the Junior Devils. They managed this game really, really well. And I think that's the thing Harry Clapman will be happy about, is that it's not just been a case of, going out and just smashing a team and it not kind of feeling like there was anything to it. They had a system. They played their system. They played their system really, really well. And actually, they pretty much won because of it. They'll be a bit disappointed for letting in one goal, but letting in a power play goal is what it is. And ultimately, they massively, massively burned the opposition. Like I say, 7-1, it maybe flatters them a little bit just because the Devils didn't need to get out of third gear. But 2 points are 2 points at the end of the day. Goal difference for the Devils could be the difference between 8th and a playoff spot and 9th and an early end to the season. All the best to both teams going forward. I'm definitely going to be in Gospel again before the end of the year, if nothing else, because there's a game against Streatham coming up before too long that could be very, very interesting. Bannersonthewall.wordpress.com, your number one source for all things related to the NIHL. Of course, you can join us tomorrow night. This is going out on Tuesday the 16th. Wednesday the 17th, the What's Current stream, live on our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. That's youtube.com. Search for Banners on the Wall. Where will I be next weekend? Undecided as of yet. I've got some ideas. Let me know where you think I should go. For Bannersonthewall.wordpress.com, this is Anthony Russell saying stay safe, and so long till next time.